The life of a Ronin completely changes when he meets several girls who have special powers. Hello and welcome back to our channel Ice Guy. Today we are going to do a recap of the anime series called Seikirei. The anime opens up in the year 2020 in Shinto Taito, in a Yabiko school. A 19-year-old male Ronin by the name of Sahashi Minato fails the entrance exam yet another time. He lets his mother know of the results, and while walking home, hears the overhead electronic newsboard mentioning MBI buying out 80% of the city's stocks, and Minato wonders what this might be about. On the way home, he thinks to himself about how he failed twice, and there is no way he can get a girlfriend this way. Coincidentally, a female Seikirei, Musubai, falls down from the sky directly onto him. It is seen that two other Seikirei are chasing after and shooting lightning at her, which causes Musubai to promptly escape while still holding on to Minato. He wakes up in his apartment, with Musubai at his side, and gets startled when he sees her. She takes off her clothes, which results in 2 nosebleeds by Minato. He waits outside, getting flustered when he realizes that he has seen real boobs. They go outside and Musubai properly introduces herself to Minato, and she apologizes for getting him into this mess. She immediately passes out because of hunger, and Minato feeds her with fast food. She thanks him and continues eating, while Minato thinks of what the incident about her falling from the sky was all about. She tells Minato that she has nowhere to return to, and Minato says that it is alright, but relationships are not allowed in the apartment complex. He inquires about the incident, and Musubai asks him to be her ashikabi. When Minato asks what that is, Musubai tells him that it's someone precious to her, someone she seeks to guide to a higher sky, and someone she has been looking for a long time. She suddenly pulls his hands to her breast. After encountering the landlord, due to having a woman in his apartment, Minato tells Musubai about modesty. After lunch at Skyline, Musubai goes to the market to get food for dinner, and Minato goes to the bank. While he walks there, the twin Seikirei, Hikari and Hibiki, sees him and soon sees Musubai as she comes running out. Twins wonder, since she is with a man, she has not emerged yet. Minato jumps in front of Musubai to protect her in battle and runs off with her, dodging lightning. He runs to an alleyway and puts Musubai down. She feels really hot and looks very red. She then grabs him and they kiss, therefore making Minato an ashikabi. That is known as the winging process. She gets lifed and she becomes very, very bright. Once a Seikirei is emerged, the twins stop attacking. Once Musubai made contact, she became much more powerful, defensive of her ashikabi. According to the twins, eventually there will be a battle royale staged in the city. This will eventually be known as the Seikirei plan. When Minato inquires as to just what they are, Musubai tells him she is a Seikirei. The scene transitions towards Musubai and Minato in his apartment, where Musubai is cooking dinner, and Minato is talking to his younger sister Yukari, asking her to bring some clothes for Musubai. The TV suddenly and randomly turns on, despite the fact it was off. On the TV, the president of MBI talks to Minato about him being Musubai's Seikirei partner. The professor talks about the Seikirei plan, which is what they are starting to enter. Basically, Seikirei are alien beings who are placed in the city due to Manaka's machinations and will fight each other, and their masters are the ones they emerge thanks to. As the Seikirei plan is highly confidential, MBI will bully him with all their might if he mentions anything to non-participants. The landlord finds out about Musubai and kicks them out of the complex. 30 apartment leasing offices later, each one turned them down because of Minato's non-existent financial means, and because he failed the university entrance exam twice. Homeless and stuck in the rain, Minato wonders why Musubai chose him as an ashikabi, and she assures him that she doesn't regret making the choice, finding him too special and worthy for who he is. 108 Seikirei have been released, and they must fight against each other until the last one standing reaches the higher sky, with their ashikabi whom they chose themselves, and grasp the fate of the world. Minato and Musubai fall in the garden of a house. Just as he decides to leave, Minato has nosebleed after seeing Musubai's ripped clothes, which revealed her breast. The landlady asks them to come in and rest, where Kagari treats Minato's wound. Minato recognizes him as a member of Yasaka's host club whom he met earlier. Kagari asks Minato about how he got in the garden, to which Minato replies a gust of wind blew him there. Upon seeing a suspicious Kagari, Minato is both shocked and relieved when Musubai arrives dressed in a beautiful kimono which she borrowed from the landlady. The landlady, named Mia, tells Minato that she likes helping people just like her husband did. Minato thinks if she is referring to Kagari, but is told that her husband is dead. Suddenly, a girl named Yuzumi arrives, which makes Minato have nosebleed again because her clothes were too revealing. Minato and Musubai decide to leave, but outside the house, they see a board open house at Izumo Inn. Minato rushes back and asks Mia if he can stay there, and is welcomed by her as she states that her husband never turned anyone away. Musubai happily hugs Minato. Kagari asks Mia if it's alright to let them stay, and is told that Minato and Musubai are connected with them and it must be the guidance of gods. As Mia lets them in, Kagari notices that the rain suddenly stopped and the clouds look torn, wondering who was responsible. While Minato and Musubai are resting inside, Minato's mom calls up and yells at him after finding out that he moved. She even decides to reduce his allowance, which comes as a shock to Minato. Even though his problems are piling up, Minato decides to stay strong and apologizes to Musubai for thinking of giving up. In return, Musubai kisses him and asks if he dislikes her. Minato denies, and smiling, Musubai hugs him. She lies down with Minato on top of her, but much to his surprise, she already fell asleep. Minato hears her mumbling his name, smiles and covers her with a blanket and sleeps beside her, thinking that he is going to work harder. After giving thanks to the landlord, Minato and Musubai decide to head to their new home. Musubai manages to carry all of Minato's belongings on her back, which surprises him. She explains that they have a power contract. She also tells him that different Seikirei have different incantations which are chanted before using a big power. Before Minato could ask anything else, they arrive at the inn. Minato and Musubai arrive at the Izumo Inn with their belongings. Mia takes them to their room, which is on the second floor, room 202. While Minato and Mia talk about the room, Musubai gets stuck in the door because of the luggage she was carrying. After 15 minutes of struggle, Minato finally manages to free her, which makes Mia laugh. She praises Musubai's strength, to which she happily replies that she is a powerful Seikirei. Mia laughs it off and leaves, and a startled Minato reminds Musubai that the Seikirei plan is supposed to be a secret. Musubai apologizes and comforts a panicked Minato that even if they are tortured, they can share the pain, and she will continue to protect him, much to Minato's relief. As they arrange the room, Minato wonders that even though Musubai told him that she likes her, is it only because he is her Ashibaki? Minato realizes his feelings that he is being attracted to Musubai. After they finish arranging the room, Musubai is excited to know that Minato has a TV, which he didn't use before because of disruptions in studies. Musubai tells him that she was raised and controlled on an island, so she feels delighted to know about the outside world. She hugs Minato and explains that it's because newborn Seikirei cannot control their powers. As of now, if her power wasn't under her control, she might have turned Minato into a pancake while hugging him. On asking about the island, she tells him that it's called Kamigura, and it is a secret island of MBI. Mintao then meets Kagari on the front door, who is about to head out. Mia appears and tells him that the dinner has been prepared. However, he kisses her hand and promises to eat it after he gets back. Mia tells Minato and Musubai to take a bath before supper. But Minato declines Musubai's offer of washing his back. Outside, Minato recalls the night when they fell in the garden, and approaching the tree that saved him, he wonders if it acted as a cushion. He stretches out his hand to touch it, and suddenly gets the feeling that a hand touched him. He has a vision of a girl calling out to him for help, much to his surprise. Somewhere else, Minaka announces the beginning of the Seikirei plan, stating that the rule is simple: fight and fight till only one is left. Standing next to him, Takami says that she is tired of his ambitions. While Musubai was taking a bath, Yuzume joins her and introduces herself as the resident of room 203. Yuzume spots the Seikirei mark on Musubai's back and tells her that she is a Seikirei as well. Outside, Minato wonders about the girl who was crying and asking for his help when suddenly he hears a loud bang, and it turns out to be a fight between Yuzume and Musubai. Yuzume tries to calm Musubai down for her sudden outburst, but she refuses to back down. Minato follows the noise and runs into Yuzume in her towel. She hugs Minato from behind, asking him to stop Musubai as she has no intentions of fighting. In the kitchen, Mia hears noises as well and heads out to stop the fight. Back to the scene, Musubai is about to blow a punch when she sees Yuzume hugging Minato, but Mia blocks it using a plate. She scolds Musubai for forgetting her manners as a girl and does the same to Yuzume. Mia warns them that whatever the cause may be, she will not forgive any violence in the Izumo Inn. Later, in a room, Musubai apologizes to Izumi, explaining that she was taught to unconditionally fight if she meets another Seikirei. Izumi forgives her and states that it's the president's motto to fight and fight until one is left. However, she has no such intentions. Minato expresses his amusement of finding another Seikirei in the Izumo Inn. Izumi almost says something she wasn't intending to, then runs out of the room where she meets Mia, who invites them for dinner. Minato then wonders that in all this mess, he completely forgot about that girl he saw earlier, and all of a sudden, he again feels her calling for help. He turns around, but finds nobody. Somewhere else in the city, Hamura encounters Hibiki and Hikari and warns them not to touch number 108. He then says that he won't mind fighting, but there are a lot of observers, further stating that MBI is desperate to dig up and disperse the green rock. Somewhere else, we see the same girl desperately asking for help from someone. And that's all for today, guys. If you liked the recap and want more summaries like this, consider subscribing to our channel.